one more time. It's live, and it's in the interest of the people. They're going to make you laugh, and they'll even make you mad enough to chew nails. Either way, they have you tuned in. So sit back in that easy chair and get close to a phone, because you can call and talk to them. You better get you something to drink, because you may need it also. Take it away, guys.
Well, I had a large holiday. Had my grandchildren here, my son, and it was wonderful. And I hope you had a good holiday.
I did. The only bad part about folks coming to see you, they may stay longer than you want them to. If you go see them, you can leave when you take a notion. But yeah, we had our granddaughter and grandson, our son and his wife, and our great-grandson, and they were sick. Now, Mayor's been sick for a week and a half. I don't know whether she got Ebola or just distemper or just the flu.
And
I'm not sure. And you got, I don't know whether you got Ebola or distemper. You may have distemper.
I think I'll go for distemper.
You got all those dogs you had to look after.
I do have a pile of dogs and other animals that I love.
But Happy New Year, folks. We survived another year. Didn't get thrown off of TV last year.
Wow.
We've been thrown off before, but so far we're hanging in there.
Yep.
We got a good year lined up. Got a lot of good guests coming up lined up. And our first guest of the new year is an attorney in town, and we'll share with you who it is in just a little bit. But we're going to be talking about all them shyster lawyers. We finally got a shyster.
I can't believe you.
S-H-I-S, shyster. We're going to be talking about, we hear all the time about, I paid this attorney so much money and he ain't done nothing for me, kept my money and didn't do nothing for me. And that's going on in society. But I remember when I was in banking, we didn't have lawyers on a no-hit list, but bankers and banking in the old days, preachers, politicians, and painters, you didn't loan them money.
Preachers, poor preachers.
Now they've added other folks. But we're going to be talking about that in just a little bit. Edward Brooke, first black elected U.S. Senator, dies at 95 years of age. Former Massachusetts U.S. Senator Edward Brooke. I believe we got a picture of him, Mr. Engineer. Mr. Cameraman, if we can show that picture of Edward Brooke. There he is. 95 years of age, was the first African-American person to be elected to the Senate by a popular vote, died at the age of 95.
What state?
He was a Republican. That's Brooke, a liberal Republican, was elected to the Senate in 1966 and served 2 terms. He earned his reputation of a liberal after becoming the first Republican senator to publicly urge President Richard Nixon to resign. Edward Brooks, senator, died dead at 95 years of age.
Doesn't look it.
No, looks. I hope I look at young at 95 if I survive 95. Somebody don't kill me first. Okay, it's okay. We can take him down. He's dead. Resident Employees of the Year, Daily Home article. The Tyler Housing Authority celebrated the residents and employees of the year on Friday with a banquet at Shockoe Springs Baptist Center. Ms. Nettie Goodwin, Curry Court Director. Let's see, her family resident of the year was Dorothy Bradford. Westgate resident of the year was Freddie Morris. Housing Authority Chairman Johnny McKinney is in the picture. Knoxville Home resident of the year, Bobby Morris. And Curry Court Disabled resident of the year, Clifford Mosley. We also honored Friday was property managers Tabitha Embry, Westgate, Vicky Hall, Knoxville Homes, and Jeff Ellison, Curry Court, along with Curry Court clerk Carla Powell. We commend these folks for being selected and being appointed to these positions. The housing area is doing a great job under Miss Nettie Goodwin.
Nice lady.
The first baby of the year, 2015, Tyler's first baby of 2015 has arrived. Cameron Eli Wilson, son of Chelsea King and Jane Wilson Jr. and brother to Colby Wilson, entered the world Friday just before noon, weighing 7 pounds, 3 ounces, and 20 inches long.
Ooh.
As traditional, mother and son were showered with gifts by the Citizen Baptist Medical Center auxiliary volunteers, represented by President Edna Wynn. Congratulations, first baby of 2015. Boy, he's a big one.
He is.
Looks like he's trying to talk already. Got his hands folded. I wish we could show it to you on television. but we can't. It's,
Yeah.
Anyway, it's in the daily homepage,
back.
whatever. 6B. Put that in the file along with this.
Thank you.
What we got here? We done did that. Don't forget Rehab First. If you got any kind of rehab you need, a lot of these football players probably need some rehab. I tell you the way they got beat up on. And I'm not saying that Alabama and Auburn folks got drunk the night before.
No.
But they sure did act like it the way they played ball.
No, we wouldn't.
I don't know what went on, but I guarantee them Oregon Ducks didn't get drunk the night before. Those guys has got it together. What I'm impressed with these Oregon Ducks is they don't have to go into the huddle and to study what they're going to do. They already know. They just go out there and play ball for 4 quarters. And it's going to be interesting to see how they come out with Ohio.
It wasn't.
Is that who they're playing, Ohio? But don't forget Rehab First. If you need any kind of rehab, been injured in a car wreck or had an operation, need knee surgery or whatever, you need any kind of rehab, they're there 7 days a week. Administration on duty 7 days a week. Private rooms, 24-hour RN coverage, wound care, certified staff, hospice care, orthopedic service. Anything you could possibly need in the line of health care. They have it, outpatient dialysis, everything. And also they have long-term care. If you have someone that's going to need a little long-term care, they can take care of you. We appreciate our sponsors, Rehab First, along with all our other sponsors.
Do you want me to say happy birthday to somebody?
Yeah, say happy birthday to somebody.
The man that smiles all the time, Johnny McKinnon, Jane Rose.
Johnny sent me a lot of stuff about, you know, from Talladega, and he sent me a lot of articles from the past, and I appreciate Johnny doing this.
And he just smiles all the time. Patricia Patterson-Bean, Freddie Edwards, Renee Jones, Bonnie Gaither, Linda Atkinson.
You better not forget your banker. She'll send your checks back.
She counts my money.
Penny Hudson.
Yes, Penny Hudson. She's one of the nicest ladies I know. Renee Jones, Bonnie Gaither, Kelly Jones, Edna Williams, Serenity, Robert something. Robert, I'm afraid to say it.
Serenity.
Right here.
Robert. That last name's sort of like a cuss word.
I think it's spelled wrong. It has to be.
ROBERTKDANG. I don't know where someone was mad when they were born and said the wrong word. They just named it. I
know. I don't blame them. Our very good friend Mac Ferguson's wife Shirley's having her birthday. Regina Taylor, Randy Hagan. Everybody's having a birthday. Robert Sewell, Brian Keithover, James Jackie Carroll. No name on that one. Hilda Dean Dossett, Billy Epperson, and Willis Watley.
Patrice Curry.
Patrice Curry. Happy birthday, Patrice.
Happy birthday to all you folks.
Yes.
If you have a birthday and you want us to talk about it, we will do it.
Let us know.
A couple of obituaries. Talladega Funeral Home is William Eugene Bolt, passed away, I believe, last night. Family visit will be at the House of Prayer Church of God Monday night from 6 to 7 with a funeral service at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. This House of Prayer is located at 18 Hamrick Drive in Oxford Highway 78 West next to the UPS store. And that's the brother of Reverend Charlie Bolt, who's a former pastor of Cherry Street Church of God, William Eugene Bolt. Also, April Lynn Stanford passed away, I guess, sometime today. Visiting will be Wednesday night, 6 to 8 at Talladega Funeral Home. Thursday, funeral service at 2 p.m. at the Talladega Funeral Home Chapel. That's April Lynn Stanford, 39 years of age. Ursula Funeral Home has got Mr. Calvin McNutt. No arrangements yet. Mr. Calvin McNutt, you that have dealt with pianos through the years, he was in the piano business. Tuned pianos, had a store in Anderson, and passed away. A super nice guy. I think he probably graduated Alabama Institute for Deaf and Blind. He's on up in age. But you can contact Ursula Funeral Home and they can tell you more about the arrangements. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Hey, Jeff.
Hello there, how you doing?
I'm fine, Jeff. How are you?
Fine. Happy New Year to all of you.
Jeff, you would make a good politician. You remember?
Oh, yeah?
You remember about 2 weeks ago how you bragged about Alabama was going to beat the tar out of Ohio?
Yeah.
Not Ohio. Who did? No, not Ohio.
Yeah,
who did play? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you was wrong, Jeff.
Yeah.
What happened?
Just lost it.
We sure
You think he
did.
might have got drunk the night before, too much partying in New Orleans?
I think they got too much party. That's all there is to it.
I saw you up at Stampede the rest of the day. If you'd had another hand, you'd have choked yourself to death the way you was eating.
Man, I was throwing that some of that chicken and dressings.
You had on a new suit.
Yeah.
Is John dressing you?
No, I do my own now.
Do you? I thought John Adams might be dressing you. You sort of dressed up like
another suit right there, but it's another color.
you sort of dressing up like John. I thought he might be buying you clothes, picking them out for you.
Yeah, I done it all. I got them Christmas.
Dr. Massey is going to be my guest in 2 weeks,
Oh,
so
wow,
you
great.
need to get ready.
Oh, can't wait to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I tell you.
You got to go.
Hey, I want to wish y'all Happy New Year to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Same to you. Now you got almost.
And hope I get you to talk to you later, Larry.
When you get ready to get married, let us know. We'll put it on television.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
Got one other thing. We got to go to break in just a moment. We're going to be on here with our guest in just a minute. He's an attorney, well known in Talladega. At probably some point in time has either represented either for you or against you. In his years in office, he's well known, and more and more people are using him on a regular, calling on him for help when they need him. And we talked about having him on as a guest and talk about some of these lawyer advertising on television. And I'm getting more and more people complaining that they're not getting proper representation. They're giving these attorneys their money, and they can't even get them to return the phone call. Won't even take the phone calls. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But and I'm trying to stay away from a lot of negative. But this one bothered me, and I just got to get it out of my gut.
You're crying.
There was an article in the paper this week about Wendy's closing. Well, we hate to see any business close. But folks, and I've shared with you about the Citizen Hospital. If you go to Birmingham and you go to Piedmont and you go to Anderson and you go everywhere else to the hospital when you need medical service, one of these days you're going to wake up and you won't have a hospital in Talladega. If you go out of town all the time and eat food and buy your groceries, one of these days you won't have a Piggly Wiggly or you won't have these restaurants in town. These folks stay in business because you trade with them. And I hate to see Wendy's close. I like to drink their Frosties. I love those Frosties. And I love their hamburgers. They were very reasonable. But they closed, I understand, around 160 stores throughout, so it's not just in Talladega. But I hated to see them leave. But anyway, there's an article on the front page of Daily Home about Wendy's closing. Well, unfortunately, we've got a few folks in Talladega, and they're very few, that has to run their mouth on Facebook. Now, I don't know where these folks don't realize that when they put something on Facebook, it's not going just to the person they're talking to. It's going all over the world. Everybody can read it. Well, here's a lady, and I'm going to call her name because it's on Facebook, and everybody's seen it. Gino Irvin wrote, said, "Awesome. Shows what a real S-hole town Talladega has become over the years." David Green wrote back, "No wonder why everybody's moving out of here. Also taking their shopping elsewhere." David wrote another one, "If I was able and had money to do it, I'd move to Lincoln or Oxford." Well, David's dad has made his living off of Talladega folks all his life. This lady you got on the book right on there right now, that's Miss Leanne Smith. And that guy next to her is Whit White. Leanne Smith commented, "I moved out of Talladega 4 months ago. Best move I ever done." Well, her folks had made a living off of Talladega for years. And now she's on disability. Well, the taxpayers are still having to subsidize her income, even though she's out of town. Whit White wrote, and his folks have done business in Talladega for over these years. He got a lot of relatives here. Whit wrote, "Gino, you were so right. I moved to Tennessee 10 years ago, and when I do come back to Talladega, I hate it. The town is so run down and trashy looking. Whoever's running Talladega now is doing a blank job. Plus, whoever ideal it was to build a bypass around town killed any hope of fixing up the town because people go around town instead of going through town, and that hurt a lot of stores and eat up joints. If I knew what I know now, I would have moved here in Tennessee 10 years ago. Talladega is a trashy, blank town. I do miss my family and friends." Well, I wrote him back and told him that the way he feels, it's a shame he had not moved quicker than 10 years ago. He's on disability. Taxpayers are still having to help subsidize his income. It burns me up when folks that don't contribute nothing to our city All they do is get on the computer and run their mouth about absolutely nothing. They have nothing to know about. We've got more activity going on in Talladega right now than ever before. Our guest will be on just a minute. Has just spent thousands of dollars buying a building on the square. It's renovating it. We've got restaurants coming in town. Yeah, we've had 2 or 3 restaurants closed, but we've got folks standing in line to take the buildings over. So the Institute is constantly doing things. Talladega College, I think, has been about $30 million building. It's never ending of what's going on in Talladega, folks. City of Talladega spent about between $5 and $6 million recently on water lines, sewer lines, and street paving. So much good stuff is going on in Talladega, and it burns me up. And all you folks that don't like Talladega and you think we're a trashy town and it's so, get out of town. You're better off to get out of our hair and get out of our way. The folks that live here, they're good people. We've got some good citizens in Talladega, and if you want to get in my hide quick, you start talking about Talladega.
Go on.
I don't appreciate it. Just go on, get on out of town, go to Tennessee or wherever you want to go. Get out of town. And if you need help getting a truck, I'll try to come up with some money to help get you out of town.
Yeah, make room for new progressive people.
Yeah, help pack for you.
Yep.
Got to go to break and be right back.
Planning a get-together, sporting event, or special occasion, let CG's help make the event more enjoyable. CG's can advise you on a favorite champagne or special wine imported from all over the world, as well as from New York and California. Perhaps you'd rather choose a muscadine wine from Alabama. CG's also has a nice selection of the latest in stemless wine glasses or champagne and water glasses. Only at CG's can you obtain your favorite imported beer, party supplies, mixes, and a variety of nuts. By the way, don't forget a gift for your favorite hostess. Visit CG's, conveniently located in Talladega at the corner of Howard and West.
A death is a troubling time for any family. Talladega Funeral Home offers dignity, respect, professionalism, commitment, and fairness to all families in need. We listen carefully. We know that some of us find great comfort in traditions, and we work tirelessly to honor those traditions. Our professional team gets to know each and every family member to help each and every individual remember, share, and ultimately move towards healing. Contact Brittany Boozer at Talladega Funeral Home today, 256-362-0111. Talladega Funeral Home. We care because every life has a story.
Have you tried one of these? It's so good. Man, I can't believe we haven't done this before. Oh, wow, look at that. Want a bite? Your agent. Do the jingle. Do the jingle. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hey, guys. Do it again. Do it again. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. In my office.
State Farm.
I think we're good. State Farm agents are there when you need them.
Welcome back.
I'm going to have to get me a drink of cold water.
I might throw some on you.
Nothing burns me up. People run down our town.
That's right.
If you don't like where you live,
Go. Bye.
move. If you don't like where you're working, get another job.
Yeah, we're news.
Don't deal with misery because you're misery. If you don't like your marriage, get out of it.
Yeah. Bye.
Go see Buddy Campbell,
Bye.
our guest. Mr. Campbell, welcome.
Welcome, Larry.
I may have to get you to defend me. Some of these folks jump on my case about jumping on them running out of town. Now, I don't like it. I'm just telling you, folks. I love Talladega. Been here all my life, and I intend to be buried here. Spent 3 years on vacation, not by choice, but made me appreciate Talladega even more when I came back home. I intend to be here, whether I'm the mayor or whether I'm not. Don't run my town down. If you got a problem with something other, if you'll call us, it's a problem with it, we'll try to get it fixed for you. But we're not perfect, but we're trying to make the town an even better place to live, work, and worship.
You do return calls.
I will return your phone call and I'll come check on something. We were supposed to mention 3 or 4 names of folks who watch our program every week, and I left the names laying on my counter. My fault. I'll get them on next week. The Barclays and seemed like there's several other people. Also, David Livingston had a birthday. Happy birthday, David. Mr. Buddy Campbell.
Yes, sir.
Lifelong resident. Your dad made his living here.
That's right. My
Prior to his
grandfather
death?
before him, my great-grandfather before him.
Your brother, Blake Harris, is your
My uncle. That's correct. We've been here a long time, Larry. Our family moved here in the Talladega County area in 1834 and been here ever since and don't plan to leave.
Your dad was in the military and he
That's
came
correct.
here and practiced medicine. A lot
That's
of people traded with your dad or served. He served a lot of people during his time. And it's I don't I don't like people running my town down. It's in my home. But let's talk about Buddy Campbell. That's where you went to school. I know he's raised up here.
I have the terrible tragedy, Larry, of having my birthplace is Nashville, Tennessee, and I lived there a total of 7 days, and it was because my dad was in the military, And 7 days after I was born, he was shipped to Korea, and my grandparents came and picked my mother and I up, and I've been Talladega County resident ever since. So
You didn't have no choice of where you were born, but you have a choice of where you want
but
to live.
I've been living here ever since. I went to high school here, Talladega High, went to University of Alabama.
Mother still living?
Mother's still here, lives in the home place, been there for 60 years now.
Right.
So we're pleased, and hopefully I'll be here till I die too.
How did you, you've been an attorney ever since I can recall. How did you choose getting into law practice?
Well, it's just something that I just had a knack for taking on problems and coming up with solutions. I try to get out of box type theories and come up with ideas and
Common sense
things that
law,
help
yeah.
to- Well, yeah, but common sense doesn't apply, Larry. That's where people have a fallacy about it. People think the law is common sense, but it's not. When you go to law school, you learn that there's an infinite number of shades of gray between black and white. And out of that, in fact, when you take the bar exam, they give you questions where all the questions are right, all of them are wrong. And you have to pick the best one. Now, I don't understand it any better than anybody else, but apparently I did well enough to pass the bar on the first try. And
Well, buddy, one thing that has bothered me, and especially since I've gotten into politics and things I've seen in the last few years, say you're my attorney, we go to court, and the judge rules in my favor. Well, Charlotte has sued me, and she appeals it to the next step. The next court says, well, that judge is wrong, Mr. Campbell, and you were wrong. We overturn the decision. I appeal it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court looks at it, Alabama Supreme Court. They said, well, yeah, I believe you're right, Mr. Campbell. Well, they filed to go to the U.S. Supreme Court. They said, no, y'all wrong. I don't understand how you can take one sentence that says, "Thou shalt not kill," and get 900 million different answers.
unfortunately, that's something that you see a good
It's
bit.
frustrating.
I've had cases that I felt like were sure winners. In fact, I tell clients now, I will not promise you any outcome on a case, because one time, this is true, Larry, I was litigating a case in this county where the issue was how long somebody had to live. Well, seeing how that person had died and was buried, and I had a picture of the tombstone, her death certificate, I thought I pretty much knew how long that person had to live. And I lost that case. And we were going to appeal it, but then you run into the dynamics of the appeal, and if my clients had appealed it, they would have actually lost money, even though in my opinion, they might have won the appeal. But you can get judges that make honest decisions that are totally different from yours, and that's what the appellate court is for.
But here again, and I'm slow. I'm a little slow. But when the wording is on the books and the law says that you can't park at this meter, you're going to get a ticket if you do, then I'm being facetious. But all the lawyers read what the law says, and every one of them, and the judges come up with a different answer of what that you can't park at that parking meter.
Larry, I can go into multiple cases.
It's frustrating.
I can think of a case where, and it was very important to me. Me and a friend of mine, Kenny Love, and I won a case in Clay County and for $1.8 million. And we get to the Supreme Court of Alabama, and the Supreme Court says, well, you know, what you won on was ambiguous. And what the ambiguity was, that late charge and default charges are ambiguous. And I'm going, wait a minute, one's when you don't make your payment on time, a default's a late payment can be a default, but other things can be a default, and they're totally different things. And I had a previous Supreme Court case that said when you had that language in the contract, they lose. But this Supreme Court just reversed it. Years of precedent, switched over like that.
They rewrite the law.
They're activist judges.
Yeah.
They want to say, oh, we're straightening it out, but this country's faced with a situation with a lot of activist judges that are taking what old law would be. I think there's a case called State Farm versus Campbell the Supreme Court ruled on. 200 years of precedent, and the U.S. Supreme Court said they had it wrong for 200 years. Well, when you're talking about the first judges on the bench were there when the Constitution was written, I think they had a good idea of what it meant.
What the Constitution meant.
Yeah, but now they're saying, oh no, they had it wrong, we're going to redo it for them.
If you just tuned in, we were talking with Harvey Campbell, better known as Buddy to everybody around Talladega. And Buddy, if you would, this is
I'm
your
trying to
camera
look
right
at
here.
it. I'm looking at it.
And tell them what all, a lot of people think you are the bankruptcy lawyer. That's what you're known
That is
for.
primarily what we do, but bankruptcy is a very large umbrella. Once you file a bankruptcy petition, all activities involving yourself and your property come under that umbrella. We do a lot of litigation over statute of limitations, over property titles, over inheritances, and all this. This is all encumbered in there. Foreclosures is one of them. Do you owe the money they say you do? That's, you know, it's easy for these corporations to say you owe money, and then you have to fight them back. For years, we've had a very difficult time doing it, but after the 2008 fiasco, some of our judges have begun to say, you know, maybe these lawyers aren't so wrong when they're saying the corporations are getting it wrong, and they are.
I've invited Buddy Campbell to be on here tonight to talk about, in the news, every time you turn on TV, you see some lawyer hammering a slot machine. He's going to get you $1 million, or another one, if you're in a car wreck and you're laying there dying, don't call me first. Well, wait a minute. If I'm laying there dying, I'm going to call an ambulance first, more than likely, not an attorney. If we're going to get you $1 million, and you have these guys come on television, I don't know whether they're real people or whether they're actors. This is making these commercials. Said so-and-so got me $700,000. He got me $200,000. This may be true. I don't know. But we're going to talk about that because I'm beginning to receive more and more calls from people saying, hey, I did this or I had that done. I had to get an attorney, and my attorney messed me up. I had a lady call me this week that a tractor trailer ran through her house, completely knocked it off of the frame. Been going on 2 years. And finally, an attorney in Birmingham took it on percentage, 50%. Well, she called me and said, Larry, they're here wanting me to sign this check for X number of dollars. And said, we don't think, I said, how much you gonna get? They said, nothing. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we got a $200,000 settlement. And he said we owed him $100,000 for 50%, and then his expenses was almost $100,000. So we're not getting anything. I said, don't sign it. He said, well, if we don't sign it, then you go to court. The courts may rule against you. And I talked to Mr. Campbell about this, and I'm going to have some folks talk to her. Another one was in a car wreck. They paid off her car note, but they've not tried to take care of her injuries and her out-of-work expenses and so forth and so on. They've taken her money, but they won't return her phone call, won't talk to her. Buddy, do you get a lot of calls like this on a pretty regular basis, or do you hear this a lot?
Yes, Larry, I do. And first off, let me say this. Lawyers advertising are not in and of itself the issue. It's certain lawyers are out there, they're offering something too good to be true. The lawyers that I suggest your listeners listen to are your lawyers that you can go talk to face. The ones that I'm seeing with the most problems are where you can't see them. You don't know where their office is at. They're practicing out of state in another state. And that's something that you have to be careful, because unless you practice in the state where your case is at, state law is unique. That's one thing about law practice. Your law license only goes to the state line. I can't go to Pennsylvania and just tell you off the top of my head what Pennsylvania real estate law is, or even what their tort law is. And I don't think a Pennsylvania lawyer can come to Alabama and systematically tell somebody what the law is here, unless they have somebody that works all the time in this state.
Well, how would you pick a good attorney? What do you
Well,
do?
you need to talk to them.
see
First
them
off, you need to actually talk to them. Either, I'd recommend trying to see them in person so you can size them up. You can look somebody in the eye. In fact, that's one reason I became a lawyer, Larry. One time I was a young man and I had to go talk to a lawyer. It wasn't anything serious, and the lawyer didn't ever talk to me. He talked to the wall, he talked to the ceiling, he talked to the floor, but he never talked to me.
Right.
If your lawyer's not going to look you in the eye and give you a true statement, you need to be thinking serious about it.
A man can't look you in the eye and talk to you. You better watch him.
That's right. And the other thing is when it's always too good to be true. Lawyers are like doctors. Sometimes you have to tell a client, well, you've got a case, but there are problems. Let me tell you what they are. If that lawyer's not telling you this, then he's not doing you a good service, because like I say, you can lose a case or you have issues that come up, you don't want to hire them and then find out about it. You want to know about it in advance.
What about these billboard lawyers?
When they put prices down there that are too low to service their
$139
case,
divorce.
let me say this. I am very skeptical of that. These people that are doing that, the odds are you aren't going to see them. The odds are if you do see them, they're not following your case. You're dealing with a paralegal or a secretary in their office, which all attorneys use paralegals and stuff, but you need to actually be able to talk to the attorney, have access to them on a regular basis. I just litigated a case where an attorney charged $5.99 for a bankruptcy, and that was his fee, and then he made the client pay another $300 and something as quote court cost. The only problem is, like the judge said she didn't have to pay the court cost. Why did he charge her that?
Oh.
Well, does he have to pay the money back, or
No,
is that fraud, or is that paying the money under false pretense?
No, he paid it. He paid it. He just didn't have to pay it. It was like he just gave the government $300 and something when it could have been waived.
Yeah. If you just tuned in, we're talking to Harvey Campbell, better known as Buddy Campbell. And tonight, folks, if you've got any kind of questions, if you're facing bankruptcy, or if you're facing having your house foreclosed on, or you're fixing to lose your car, or you've got medical bills piled up and they're trying to attach your wages at your work, or so forth and so on, tonight is your night to get free legal advice.
Call.
It ain't often that you can get free legal
Yeah.
advice, and I don't mean that critical, but a lawyer has to make his living, and by giving advice or taking your case is where he makes his living.
And you
So
never know.
if you want to call in tonight and ask about anything, don't have to give your name. 369-1688. You can ask about anything that you've got pending. If you want to get some free advice, and you might want to talk to Mr. Campbell. Might want to go to his office and see if he can help you. But you got an opportunity tonight to call in and get some free advice. 369-1688, and Mr. Campbell will talk to you about anything. If he don't understand or can't give you advice, he'll tell you. I don't deal in that. He might recommend somebody else to you, and he may not. But we got to go to break. We'll be right back while you're trying to decide if you want to call and tell us what your problem is. Be right back.
Planning a get-together, sporting event, or special occasion, let CG's help make the event more enjoyable. CG's can advise you on a favorite champagne or special wine imported from all over the world, as well as from New York and California. Perhaps you'd rather choose a muscadine wine from Alabama. CG's also has a nice selection of the latest in stemless wine glasses or champagne and water glasses. Only at CG's can you obtain your favorite imported beer, party supplies, mixes, and a variety of nuts. By the way, don't forget a gift for your favorite hostess. Visit CG's, conveniently located in Talladega at the corner of Howard and West.
A death is a troubling time for any family. Talladega Funeral Home offers dignity, respect, professionalism, commitment, and fairness to all families in need. We listen carefully. We know that some of us find great comfort in traditions, and we work tirelessly to honor those traditions. Our professional team gets to know each and every family member to help each and every individual remember, share, and ultimately move towards healing. Contact Brittany Boozer at Talladega Funeral Home today, 256-362-0111. Talladega Funeral Home. We care because every life has a story.
Have you tried one of these? It's so good.
Man, I can't believe we haven't done this before.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Want a bite?
You're aging. Do the jingle. Do the jingle. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, guys.
Do it again. Do it again. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In my office.
State Farm.
I think we're good.
No, they're always there.
State Farm agents are there when you need them.
They're always there for us.
I wish I could get, I told you this, I wish I could get Doug Camp in the back of that car seat. That guy that comes up, I wish we could put a head. Some of these folks is masters at photoshopping, what do you call it, where you can take pictures and put them together and so forth, and you can't tell whether it's legit or not. If they could put a picture of Doug's head on that guy and he comes up out of the back seat,
Ooh.
wouldn't that be frightening?
Yeah.
And we appreciate Doug Camp and all the folks there. We've been doing business with them. They came over with Noah, and we was on the ship with them. We've been doing business with them forever. We got a caller on the line here. Hello, caller. You got a question for Mr. Campbell?
Yes,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, buddy.
Hey there. Go ahead. What's your question?
I got a good friend that appointed Tyler. It is appointed down at the front of Tyler shop. Appointed there, and our payment was $140 a month. And every time they go down and pay it, this said they're paying the premium on it, but on that they won't knock no payment on it. What about that?
What you're saying is you got a friend that borrowed. How much did he borrow to begin with? You know?
$1,500.
$1,500,
Yeah,
and his payment was $140 a month.
$148 a month.
$148 a month. How long has he been paying on it?
He's been paying on now about 5 months.
And he still owes $1,500. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate you calling. Buddy will answer your phone call. Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Hello, caller. You got a call? I got a question? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
You got a question for Mr. Campbell?
Yes, I have.
Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Campbell, I went to a bankruptcy about 8-9 years ago, and the attorney charged me $2,700 to go into bankruptcy up front. I had to pay $2,700. I had to go halfway through. I had to stay in there a year, and he doesn't he owe me any money back, or could I get his money back? I was paid the court to him at the same time. He took what I paid him, paid the court off, and then he charged $2,700.
Okay, if you want to hang up and he'll answer your question for you. Appreciate you calling, sir.
Yeah.
There's Larry, one thing about bankruptcy that is something a lot of people don't realize, and which I don't really mind. If you have a problem with your attorney in a bankruptcy case, you have the right to ask the judge to review his attorney fee. Every attorney fee a bankruptcy attorney files for is subject to the court's approval. First off, it has to be disclosed. Did the attorney properly disclose it? And then I'm gonna tell you something, our judge here in this division, if he finds out that something's not right, he'll make them give the money back, and he may even suspend the attorney. But the second issue is, if it's been that long ago, everything I know about the statute of limitations would have cut him off, would have cut you off on that.
We appreciate these callers. You got a call for Buddy Campbell, 369-1688. He will be glad to discuss anything with you. You got to ask any question you may have concerning legal, going through a divorce, or if you got repossession pending, or whatever, any kind of litigation you got going. You've been in a car wreck and you don't feel like your attorney been representing your property, you feel like the insurance company's not doing you right or whatever. We're not here to pick on anybody. We're just here to discuss everyday things that are going on. And this is your night to get a question in and get an answer. 369-1688. Back to the man title upon. He said he borrowed $1,500 5 months ago and he's still paying, what is it, $158 a month?
He's very fortunate if that's all he's having to pay, Larry, because typically they can charge up to 25% a month. That's equivalent to $300.
But isn't it some
300%?
400%?
300% for a pawn shop.
And that's legal?
Yes, it's legal. That's with pawns, and unless you pay more than the pawn charge, you'll never get that car out of
What they're
there.
trying to do is just get his interest every month.
That's right. They feed on it. The worst cases of that are with the check cases, where they're charging $400 to $500.
That's what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Oh.
And they let them keep. They seem to have them for years at a time, and I mean months and months, where they're only supposed to have what's called 2 rollovers, and they have come up with a crazy way that if you give me cash and I give you the check back, then I can give you another one the same day. I find that not acceptable. Unfortunately, our state banking department doesn't read the law that way. I do. I read it different, and we've actually, we don't litigate those cases, though. We don't litigate checking because we arbitrate. And that's better for us. It gets us to a different form, and we've had some good results with check cashers. We've got some check cashers now doing $2,000 and $3,000 checks, when the limit's supposed to be $500.
The city council just recently passed an ordinance with a moratorium. No more check cashing places.
Yeah, well, I think
I think we got, what, 20, 25 in town?
It's some unbelievable number. And Larry, what we see in my office is we'll have, in one scenario, we have 3 separate companies owned by the same individual. Each company has a different verification system, so they have customers that owe each one of these companies the max, and they can show the state of Alabama, well, we checked and they didn't owe anybody else. And that's one thing they're trying to stop. There's a lawsuit stopping it. The banking department said, no, you got to use one system so everybody's on it. And they're fighting that in court, and unfortunately, it's stayed right now. And it's been going on for a year or two, and it needs to get resolved, or the legislature need to get up and get it done.
Well, one reason that the legislators are not doing anything, you got so many of them that's got their hands in the pot.
You'd be surprised.
They own companies or
you'd be surprised about that, Larry. You really would. People need to look at their legislatures that are involved in this stuff, and it's not necessarily. It's just hard to believe that people have money in these things, or have their family or friends involved in them. See what I'm saying? Is not necessarily them. They wouldn't want to dirty their hands with
We
this.
need a list.
Well, you can, of course, sometimes, I guess you get a list from the state who actually owns the company, but
You
if
have
they're
to.
silent partners.
You have to.
It's probably
That's
hidden.
true. All they have to do is file their incorporation papers or their LLC papers, and then if they have multiple owners, you may not ever know who they are.
If you got a question for Mr. Campbell, 369-1688. He'll be glad to discuss anything you may have pending, any kind of legal thing that's got pending you're concerned about. Now's your opportunity to get free advice. Don't even have to leave your home. Don't even have to leave your room there.
Call now.
You just pick up the phone and call. Don't have to give your name, and just ask whatever you got that you need an answer for. We got to go to a break. Before we do, don't forget Rehab First, McGuffey Healthcare in Gaston. They've been around a long, long time, and they can take care of any kind of need that you could possibly need in the line of rehab. They got specialists on the payroll up there talking about rheumatoid arthritis. They can give you some information about that, some things you need to do to try to help alleviate some of these problems. Got 7 days a week administration on duty, private rooms. Charlotte may need, if you got the Ebola, baby, you may need to go up there and get, I don't know if they treat distemper up there or not. They treat everything else. But they got some folks here that when a person will take time to write you and thank you for what they've done, that's good. Here's Jay Smith out of Gadsden said, you have the best therapist staff I've ever seen. Overall rating is excellent. Here's another Mr. Whistlenine out of Gadsden said, everyone is kind, friendly, and takes time to talk to patients and families. The nurses and nursing assistants are the most caring and make you comfortable. They have the best teamwork between the patients, therapists, nursing, and administration. I love Rehab First and cried the day I left because I'll miss the great people and care. Here's Mr. Green out of Gaston. I would recommend Rehab First to others. Very satisfied. And we have people that are going there that's listening to our program from all over the state. Sometimes you have to drive a little extra, 30, 40, 50 miles from where you are, but it's worth the drive to get someone that cares for you. They don't put you in the bed there for 20 days and then send you home. They get you up the first day you're there and start giving you therapy or start getting you back ready to go home. Rehab First, McGuffey Healthcare in Gaston, the place to be if you need rehab. We've got another call. I've got a question for you, buddy, when we come back that is a lot of people ask about. We've got to go to break and we'll be right back.
Planning a get-together, sporting event, or special occasion, let CG's help make the event more enjoyable. CG's can advise you on a favorite champagne or special wine imported from all over the world, as well as from New York and California. Perhaps you'd rather choose a muscadine wine from Alabama. CG's also has a nice selection of the latest in stemless wine glasses or champagne and water glasses. Only at CG's can you obtain your favorite imported beer, party supplies, mixes, and a variety of nuts. By the way, don't forget a gift for your favorite hostess. Visit CG's, conveniently located in Talladega at the corner of Howard and West.
A death is a troubling time for any family. Talladega Funeral Home offers dignity, respect, professionalism, commitment, and fairness to all families in need. We listen carefully. We know that some of us find great comfort in traditions, and we work tirelessly to honor those traditions. Our professional team gets to know each and every family member to help each and every individual remember, share, and ultimately move towards healing. Contact Brittany Boozer at Talladega Funeral Home today, 256-362-0111. Talladega Funeral Home. We care because every life has a story.
Have you tried one of these? It's so good. Man, I can't believe we haven't done this before. Oh, wow, look at that.
Want a bite?
You're aging. Do the jingle. Do the jingle. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, guys.
Do it again. Do it again. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In my office.
State Farm.
I think we're good.
State Farm agents are there when you need them.
Let's get back to it. This is exciting.
Talking about Stampede Restaurant a while ago, Jeff called in. Mayor had been sick for a week. She has coughed 24/7. Bless her heart, she has really suffered, and she's a lot better, but she still got that old cough that's hanging on.
That's
But
right.
Delane called and said, I want to take Mama out to dinner today. This was her birthday 2 days ago. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Mama. She's under 100. And she said she felt like going up there and eating, but she went right back home and went back to bed. But we was at Stampede Restaurant today, and it was packed. Some of the best food. I had chicken breast and all the stuff that goes with it. And she had, I think, chicken and dressing, whatever. It's amazing how the good meals they have at Stampede Restaurant. They're there 7 days a week, about 11 in the morning till somewhere around 8 o'clock at night. And it's fast service. It's not as fast as fast food, but it's good service. And if you order off of the regular meal that's already prepared, you get waited on quick. If you order off the menu, it takes a little while to get it out of the refrigerator and put it in the skillet and fry it and get it to you. But the place was wrapped up. We appreciate Stampede Restaurant being one of our sponsors. Appreciate all of our sponsors. Buddy, back, and this is not a loaded question. I hear a lot of people that goes out of town, they think they can't get a good deal here with attorneys in town. They say, well, they know this and they know that one, and my wife got this one for her attorney, and I'm not going to get somebody in Talladega to represent me against my wife. I'm going out of town. Is this good advice? Is this good thinking?
Larry, this is a true story. When I was a younger attorney, and me and several other attorneys were thinking, let's get an office in a big city. And I've actually had offices in Montgomery and in Birmingham. And the most strange thing, the first 3 clients I saw in the Birmingham office had driven past my office in Talladega to get to Birmingham. Larry, we take the same bar exam. We have to study the same law. We have the same law books apply here as they do in Birmingham. I don't understand this about going to the big city to get a big time lawyer, because if your lawyer's qualified, he knows how to do it here. I'll stand up with anybody. I've had some of the biggest cases.
You sitting in your living room and you got something other that you want to get a lawyer for, and this character comes on the TV, $1 million suits and busting slot machines and doing this and doing that. I'll get you $1 million. You call me.
Yeah.
You call me first. I'll take these insurance companies to task. I'll get you what you deserve. You know.
Well, Larry, you know me, and you know at one time we were handling some of the biggest cases in this state out of this Talladega office.
Right.
One of the biggest settlements in this county took place in my office on my desk because I refused to go to Birmingham to the other side's lawyer's office, because they told me when we started, they said they looked at us and said, y'all boys better get y'all's malpractice insurance paid because y'all don't know what y'all doing. That settled in our case for over $4.7 million. I made them come, my friends made them come, and they settled it right here. Why? Because we didn't know what we were doing. The attorneys in Birmingham didn't, but we did. It's not fair to say that all big-time attorneys can't do it. And not every attorney can do everything. And that's something I think in my office, I have 4 other attorneys in there.
I didn't know that. I knew you had one of them, but
No, I have 4 attorneys, and we're there to help. And one reason is to give the service that people need. And when you go into an office, there's 1 attorney or 2 attorneys. Are they there? Can they give you the support that you need for your case? Can they devote the time that you need? These people with the $599 billboard for bankruptcies, you're not going to get the time. You're not going to get somebody going to your case and hearing it. Now, I think that's coming to an end. Our judge has just recently gone on a binge about attorneys having ghost attorneys represent them. That is, calling up somebody and saying, well, you stand in for me. I think that's about to stop. And in my firm, we've always gone to our own court cases. We don't try to get somebody else to stand in. That's why I have 4 attorneys.
When, say I need your service.
In addition to me.
Say I need your service. I call you, I say, buddy, I ain't got no money, but I got a good case here. Do you take a case on contingency or consignment, or not consignment, but contingency?
We look at them. We do them on both. It depends on the nature of the case and what we're doing. We like to look, is there a source for attorney fees from the other side? Can we posture a case for that? We're in Alabama. we operate under what's called the American rule of law, and that is when you go to court, you're supposed to pay for your attorney. However, there are certain statutory acts out there that allow you, if you win, to have the other side pay your attorney fee. We certainly look for those and try to posture our cases to get that. Larry, I think one of the things I wanted to bring up tonight is that when you and I met at another restaurant in town, and I was talking, you asked me what's going on, and I said, my Christmas had been good. All my children were at home. I loved them, had a great time. Leading up to Christmas was one of the worst months I've had in the law practice, in the sense I had so many people come in losing their houses when they should have never lost them. I have a elderly couple, 80 years old. One of them's a double amputee that hired an attorney out of Pennsylvania and New Jersey that apparently doesn't know the law in Alabama, and told them, oh, they're not going to foreclose on your house. Well, you know what I saw? I saw an eviction notice. And fortunately, I knew the attorney, and I was able to talk to the attorney for the bank and was able to get them there. And we're in the process of litigating. We're filing a suit against these attorneys, which I've never sued an attorney in my life until this. They took over $4,000 from this elderly couple and didn't do much of anything. In fact, the only document I saw had the wrong name on it, had the wrong state on it. It was awful. And they want to call themselves lawyers, and they're advertising and getting clients sent in. Another couple had somebody from California that was helping them. Well, they were in my office to stop a foreclosure the day before that foreclosure, because that attorney in California wasn't going to do anything for them. You got to get somebody on the ground in this town to help you. When you see this stuff on TV saying, oh, you stop a foreclosure, you can do this and you can do that, that's fine. There are ways to do this, but you don't necessarily need an attorney out of, not just out of town, I'm talking about out of state. It's like I was telling you earlier, Larry, when we were talking off camera, realty law is different as far as I know in every state. There is no uniform realty law. There's uniform mortgages and procedures, but you go to Florida, they have to file a suit against you to foreclose on. In Alabama, they run it 3 times in the paper and have a little auction that you may or may not know about. The auction takes place between 10 and 3. How do you know when it's going to be? And the next thing they know, well, they own your house. Mm-hmm. The year before last, they had a 70-year-old couple being evicted. And in that case, the clients just didn't think it was really happening until the deputy came there and said, I'm going to throw you out of your house, when they were current with their payments. In that case, the bank screwed up and knew they screwed up, but said, well, they'll never hire an attorney. They won't go to an attorney because they're an elderly couple. They hadn't gone to an attorney yet. And the only reason they got to me was the deputy sheriff was a good friend of mine and said, you need to go talk to somebody, I'm serious. And we were able to set that aside, and those people are now in a new home.
We still got another 6-7 minutes if you want to make a phone call, 369-1688, and ask Buddy Campbell a question. If you've got something other that's bothering you, you got something other pending, or divorce, or about to lose your house, or you're behind on your payments, or whatever. Workman's comp, you've been thrown out of a job, you feel like you've been done wrong. Now's your opportunity to call in and ask a question. Buddy, let me say this. I'm not going to disparage all lawyers advertise. I'll advertise. Well, I understand that.
And I've had TV ads before. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about attorneys that are offering you something too good to be true. For example, these people, they don't claim to be attorneys, but another example are the people with tax problems. I have had people spend $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 on one of these places, and all they're getting are the same forms I can download free from the IRS. That's insane. But people do that simply because they believe that going out of town and getting somebody that does that, right, we can do that very same thing. I have an attorney with an LLM in my office that can do that right here. You can come and talk to him and sit down and hear all what's happening instead of having to fax this and do that.
Well, when you go see Buddy or any attorney around town, but more than likely, the attorney in Talladega, he knows me, knows my daddy, mother, knows my brothers and my sisters, knows all your family. You go to Birmingham, all he knows is you sitting there before him, and when you leave and you left him some money, he maybe got 5 or 6 others in line giving us more money. He could care less. I can't say he care less, but it's not a personal relationship like you would have in town.
Larry, that's something I want to bring up too. You're dead on right about that. My family's been here since 1834. I don't plan on leaving this community. I want to treat every one of our clients with the respect they deserve. Sometimes you have to tell them stuff they don't want to hear, but you try to work with them and you want them to feel good about this, so they'll refer somebody else to you. And that's how we're making our living. Right now, I don't have any major advertisement, but we've still got people coming in because I have a long history.
We support advertising. What I'm saying, though, when a person sitting there, they've not seen you advertise on television or what, they just psychologically, they get that person that's been on the screen, oh man, he's good because he's on TV all the time, you know.
No, that's not necessarily so.
I know, but I'm saying, though, that's a lot of times that's what's happening.
That's true.
These car dealers, they come on the screen, screaming and hollering. I guess everybody's deaf because they come on with a commercial screaming and hollering. See me, I'll give you a discount, so forth and so on. Person just called, said, please give your phone number, how they can reach you, and where you're located.
Okay, I'm located on the square in Talladega on the southeast corner at the moment. My phone number is 256-761-1858.
And he's listed in the phone book is Campbell and Campbell.
That's correct. And that's all there now, just Campbell and Campbell. You're not going to see any ads because I've quit advertising a lot, like I said, and have relied on just my former client base. But I'm seeing that these people are going out of town again. They're getting, and I regret having clients come into me after the fact when I could have easily helped them.
And probably saved them money in a lot of cases.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, having to set aside a judgment, that's a whole legal procedure in and of itself that's not necessary if you get it to start with.
I'd like to say I don't think the Yellow Pages is the best place to.
No, I don't know. I would like to know. That's what I'm trying to decide. What is it?
Got another call.
See it with a magnifier.
Hello, caller. You got a question?
Hello?
Yes, you got a question for Mr. Campbell? Hello?
Yes.
Have you got a question for Mr. Campbell? Go ahead.
Yes, I have.
All right, sir.
I worked for Ford and Beasley when they went bankrupt,
Yes, sir.
and they beat me out of $2,500 in wages. Is there any way you can get that?
That case is long gone. I wish you'd have come to me. You would have had a priority claim in bankruptcy, which meant that you would have been paid just about ahead of anybody else except maybe some taxes.
Sir, you waited too late.
Okay.
But wages, I want people to know that wages in bankruptcy are given a limited amount of protection up to several $1,000s, and he would have been covered.
Folks, Mr. Campbell has been telling you here tonight, don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait till the moving truck's out front or the sheriff's there putting your stuff out on the street. It's too late most time. When you got a problem and you can't get it worked out with the folks you owe money to, if they're not willing to work it out for you, then the next step is go see an attorney and do what you have to do. Buddy, I appreciate you.
Go see your local attorneys. Like you say, use local business. Go to them. If a client comes in and has a case that we don't normally handle, we try to get an attorney that we know handles it. It's something I learned from my father. He was a general practitioner, and he told me one time, he said, I treat them, I bandage them up, but then if it's something bad, and I get them to a specialist, and I know the specialist, and that's what we do. If you have an issue that is something out of our line, we'll line you up with somebody that we think can help you.
Folks, our time is gone. We got about another minute or so. But let me encourage you, not only to get a local attorney, trade locally. Use a hospital when you need services. Use the restaurants, use the business around town. If you don't one of these mornings, there'll be another article in the Daily Home, so-and-so closed down. They depend on customers doing business with them to stay in business. If you don't stay in business, they're gonna close down. If you don't trade with them, they're gonna close down. But we appreciate you tuning in. We'll have Mr. Campbell back. Maybe we can get him to do a little advertisement and increase his business. Buddy, thanks for being with us. We got
Thank you, Larry. Good to meet you too.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to
We'll
everybody.
see y'all next week. We got an accountant going to be on here, tell you how to spend your money.
Oh, I need his
and then the week after next, we're going to have Dr. Massey of Alabama Institute for Deaf and Blind.
yay.
Gotta go. See you later.